everyone, I've gone manic, and I used to go crazy and manic over Sonic, and my old YouTube channel name was Manic, so it all kind of works out for this new name. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Sonic. The original first game, that is. You know how every game is an open world game nowadays? Well, in the 90s, that was platformers, and one of the games that stuck out from the rest was Sonic. Everyone really liked this game, and people still like it to this day, calling it one of the best Sonic games ever. But on a recent playthrough, I saw Sonic 1 didn't really hold up like the other classic Sonic games. Now, don't get me wrong, this game isn't completely bad, but compared to Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, and Sonic Mania, the game doesn't hold up as well. The game is fine in its own right. The way Sonic controls may have some bugs here and there, but it's not enough to hinder my experience. I think one of my favorite things about this game is just the way it looks. I think it still holds up today. None of these zones look the same. They're all completely different from each other. You know, in Mario, you could mistake World 1-1 for World 4-3, but in Sonic, there's no way you can mix up Marble Zone and Labyrinth Zone, or Green Hill Zone and Spring Yard Zone. I also like one level in particular in this game, and that's the first one, Green Hill Zone. You know, I think Green Hill Zone has probably the best level design in the game. It has this great balance of speed and exploration. You can do whatever you want in Green Hill Zone. You could take it slow and explore it. You could go the bottom path, the middle path, the top path. You could speedrun at hell. You could just do all of that stuff in one. Like, you don't even need to, make a single choice. It's a great introduction zone, sure, but it's just a great zone to play in. It doesn't get old. That's great level design. But the rest just kind of feels like filler. Marble Zone is almost the complete opposite of Green Hill. It's slow, it's linear, there's a lot of waiting involved, it's such a slog to go through. The zone feels a lot worse too because, again, the zone right before this was almost the complete opposite. Spring Yard isn't a bad zone. It's not as bad as Marble, but it's definitely not as good as Green Hill. There are fast moments, and it's not as linear as Marble, but it's not as non-linear as Green Hill. But most importantly, it's a fun zone to play through. And in the end, that's all that's asked for. Fun levels. Starlight Zone isn't very good. Those moments when you're going fast are there, but sometimes it feels like the zone punishes you for going fast in moments it doesn't want you to. It's even more linear than Spring Yard Zone. It also has bottomless pits, so automatic points off for that. It's a nice break from the zone before, and oh, I forgot to talk about that zone. You know, that one zone. Labyrinth. This fucking atrocity of a level. You know all those bad things I said about Marble Zone and how slow and linear it was? Just take that, except make it 10 times worse. All you do in this zone is climb up and down. There are 0 moments of speed in this zone. You never go fast. And to top it all off, the water physics. You know when you take a YouTube video and you slow it down to 0.5 speed? Yeah, that's the water physics. And it's in all the classic Sonic games, but in them, they take advantage of it. Here, it's just Sonic being slow. And just to top it all off, Sonic can't breathe underwater. Every 20 seconds or so, Sonic has to stop in his tracks and grab an air bubble. And you know what? This is a fair and fine concept on its own. In fact, I like it. When you're about to drown, it's really stressful. The tension is there. You could just feel it. It's like, oh shit, oh god, get the fucking bubble, son, go! But mixed with the water physics and the level design, it just makes the zone even harder to play through. This is definitely the worst level in the game. In my opinion, Marble Zone is still not fun because it comes right after Green Hill, but Labyrinth is probably objectively the worst. So yeah, this zone sucks. Let's move on to the next one. Scrap Brain Zone isn't actually a bad zone. There are kind of multiple pathways, again, not as many as Green Hill, but I've kind of come to expect that none of the zones here are going to be as non-linear as Green Hill. The zone is fairly difficult, but that's kind of expected because it's the last zone in the game. If you've never played this zone, you're probably going to die here. It's a given. Something cool about this zone is that each act takes place in a kind of different area. I think that this whole act transition thing is pretty cool, and it makes it one of the more better zones in the game. So good on you, Scrap Brain. Top tier. Did I seriously just say more better? Okay. It's really cool, actually. The first act takes place outside the factory, the second act takes place inside the factory, and the third act... Oh, really? Wow. I love Labyrinth. Oh, my favorite. Now I get to play it again. You know, this in itself is actually a really cool idea. Eggman traps Sonic and he sends him to a kind of labyrinth place under his factory. That's really cool. But it's Labyrinth. It's Labyrinth. Everything that made Labyrinth is here in this act alone. And that sucks because this zone was pretty cool. Not only that, but the bubbles take longer to spawn, which means a lot more waiting's involved. I'm not sure why they rehashed Labyrinth for Act 3. I think it had something to do with the amount of space on the cartridge or something. But whatever the case may be, I think Scrap Brain Zone, at least Act 1 and 2, was pretty cool. But let me tell you, that Labyrinth part brings it down so hard for me, especially because it's like literally the very last level. That means that in the original, if you got a game over here, you had to start the entire game over, which, oh my god. Now, I know I said a lot about the zones, but what about the boss fights? You know, boss fights are some of my favorite things in video games. You know, I like when the big baddie comes along and puts my skills from what I learned in the level to the test. However, the boss fights in Sonic 1 aren't really challenging. Now, for first-time players, maybe some of these bosses could be hard, like Marble Zones and Spring Yard Zones or Starlight Zones, but for me, the only one that gave me a challenge was, oddly enough, the Labyrinth Zone boss, which... yeah, 8 minutes, and I got a game over, which means I had to restart the entire zone, so... yeah. You know what, actually, it's my fault. I just suck at the boss. It's actually a pretty cool boss when you play it, so I guess that's good on Labyrinth then. Good job. Anyways, not even the final boss gave me a challenge. In fact, I'd actually say this is one of the more easier bosses in the game. Look at this, slow crushers, easily dodgeable projectiles. I mean, by all means, it's not a bad final boss, but I'd have a harder time with Green Hill Zone's boss if I couldn't defeat it in the first couple hits. I mean, it was brought back as a mini-boss in Sonic Mania, and even that made it harder with the second phase. Look, again, I'm not saying any of these bosses are bad, but they could have been a little more challenging. You know what? I think it's time to talk about the special stages. They are not that bad, actually. I mean, sure, getting to them is a little bullshit. You have to get to the end of the stage with at least 50 rings. And this wouldn't have been so bad if you didn't have a limited amount of times to get them. For starters, you can only get them in the first 2 acts of each zone, not including Scrap Brain. Along with that 50 rings you have to collect, the special stages are also really challenging. You are definitely not going to get these on your first try. However, I think this was done intentionally. You see, on someone's first playthrough, they're gonna see this screen at the end of the game. Eggman's laughing at you while he's juggling these crystals. He's clowning you. He's making fun of you. Naturally, that'd make you want to replay the game and see what these emeralds are. Now, these special stages may be super hard at first and a tad bit luck-based, but once you figure out how they work and even master them, they become a breeze. Okay, maybe not a breeze. I mean, I use save states. Hey, at least I'm being honest. It gives you a reason to come back to the game, and I can congratulate Sonic 1 on that. But the prize for getting the emeralds isn't anything to write home about. It's just a slightly different ending from the original. If the prize for getting all the Chaos Emeralds, which that's what they're called by the way, was better, this probably could have been the highlight of the game. But I will still compliment Sonic 1 for this. I think replay value in video games is great. There should always be a reason for me to come back and play a video game, besides of course just for the sake of playing the game again. I think Sonic 1's main problem was the fact that each zone was split up into 3 acts. In the later games, it especially wouldn't work, and of course it wasn't designed for 3 acts, but the 2-act system definitely improved what Sonic was, and make sure that every zone doesn't stick around for too long. And that's absolutely Sonic 1's problem. Each zone just feels so long. Maybe if each zone was split up into 2 acts, these zones would feel more bearable. But you know what? This was the first game in the series, and a lot was tested out, and a lot in the future was fixed, so I'll give the game the benefit of the doubt. Most of the level design flaws was just them testing out what Sonic could be. However, still, fuck Labyrinth Zone. Although Sonic 1 itself may not be that good, Sonic 1 has a couple re-releases that make the game a lot better. One re-release, or I should say, one remake of Sonic 1 is the Christian Whitehead remake, which makes almost everything in Sonic 1 better. You know, the usual smoother frame rate, widescreen, a save system, time attack, and ads. Now, there may be ads, but that's only because they made the game free. Before, you needed to pay $3 in order to play this game, and if you don't want the ads there, you can pay for them to be gone. There are achievements, there's a leaderboard, you can even change the box art in the intro, which, dude, the details. Now, of course, with all of this stuff, you have things that weren't there before. For example, now you can use the spin dash in Sonic 1, and there's an additional 2 playable characters, Knuckles and Tails, join the roster of Sonic 1. There's even a mode that allows you to have that Sonic and Tails combo. I know I mentioned it before, but look at this. This is much better than the original. I mean, holy shit, look at these special stages. They're silky smooth. Silky smooth! Jesus Christ. Anyways, there's actually a cheat menu you can unlock. In here you can turn on the elemental shields, and you can turn on the 7th Chaos Emerald, which means Super Sonic. And you don't just unlock Super Sonic right off the bat. You have to beat a brand new special stage. And the Super Sonic sprites are completely original, which is really awesome. Credit to Tempest Wave for the footage. Now, my only problem with this is that it's on the phone. And yes, you can use a controller, but it's not going to be the same as seeing it on the big screen. Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret, and you can't tell anyone, but I know a secret way to play these games on PC. The first letter is blue, and the second letter is stacks. No, I didn't say anything. So, what do I think about Sonic 1 overall? Game sucks. Bye-bye. Nah, I'm kidding. I think this game has a ton of flaws, but it's still worth experiencing. However, for me at least, this classic Sonic game is a little hard to come back to. And I know that may kind of contradict what I said before, but after you play the games like Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, and of course Sonic Mania, you just find that it doesn't really hold up as well. Of course, again, Sonic 1 is a good game in its own right. I'd say at least majority of the levels are great, all of it looks good, Sonic controls really well, and the music, oh crap, I didn't mention the music. Sonic has always been iconic for his music. Modern games, classic games, it's always been good, and it started out with this game. This game's music is incredible. The OST is just great. I mean, what can I say that already hasn't been said about this? Basically, my point is, this game has a lot of good stuff about it, so don't let my trash talk discourage you from playing the game. I enjoyed a lot of it, and I hope you do too. Hey, if you made it to the end of the video, I'd just like to say thank you. Very much. This means a lot to me. I put a lot of effort into this video. I'm actually thinking of making this a whole series, you know, just reviewing games, I don't know. And I'm talking all kinds of games. Final Fantasy, Zelda, Sonic, everything. Now, this is my first review-ish video, and it's obviously gonna have a lot of flaws, but if you could actually give me some feedback, that would be pretty nice. Feedback on my editing, the way I talk about things, really anything you can think of that you thought was a little weird or annoying, I don't know. Just drop it down there in the comments. Anyways, this is a pretty long video and I don't want to waste any more of your time, so thank you for watching again. And if you liked the video, like it, and if you want to see more, subscribe. And I hope you guys have a good day. And good night. Yeah.